right, let's do this. It's 11:15 p.m. GMT, 19th of December. The week is over, thank God. All right, so I'm not sure how much I want to do, but we'll see how we go. So let's start off with silver, which, as I hoped yesterday, would gap up, and it gapped up. It did. It only went up about 0.7, 0.8% early morning, and the opening candle was a little bit spiky and it filled the gap, and then it did pull back. And of course, yours truly, um, I hate letting gains turn red. I basically got kicked out around, I don't know, $60. Yeah, just above $60, which I thought was, was okay. But after that little minor brief cooling, silver went back up and even broke a new historic high. Oh, that was kind of annoying not to be in that trade. But hey, you can see from about what? Well, yeah, from about 12 o'clock, 4 hours of sideways churn. Although, yeah, that was a new historic high, 61.16. Cooled a little bit, but minor chop, which is pretty normal for quad opex. Um, but we do have we have one gap to resolve. We have the opening gap. So in theory, I got to think that Monday or Tuesday we'll see red gap tagged to at least 59.75. So I think silver's going to be down 2%. It could even gap down on Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if silver gaps down on Monday. If it does, I'm a buyer. And yeah, to be quite clear, I don't own any silver right now. I'm completely sold out, which is also the way I was last Friday, and then I got really bad on Monday when we gapped higher. On the 16th. You see, we had a gap higher. I missed out on that, but then I bought in here and had some pretty good gains on what's that? On the Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday open. Yeah, that was all right. And then bought back in twice on Thursday from here and here, and then sold out. So yeah, four green SLV trades this week, which I'm happy about. I mean, I was a week ago. I said it in the video. A week ago, I was hoping for 2 more green exits before Christmas, and I got 4. The irony being, and this is quite personal disclosure here, like, I wanted 2 green exits, but I got 4, and I'm still annoyed. Not super annoyed, but I'm just like, it never feels like enough. I don't know what that says about me. I mean, partly it's because of personal issues, but it's like, yeah, I wanted 2 green exits. I got 4, and it still feels like, well, still feels like a not a complete failure. I can't say that. I mustn't say that. It wasn't a failure. It was a good week. It was a very good week. Like, what, what am I complaining about? I mean, I really can't, but it's a little frustrating when you get, I'm worried about seeing a position turn from green to red into the weekend. So I bail, right? I bail at $60. And it does cool back, but then it resumes up, which is like, oh God. But anyway, now I'm going to hope that silver drops big at the Monday open, or just kind of leans weak and cools back to red gap. I would definitely be a buyer at red gap. I mean, it would be really good to have another drop into this big old yellow gap here. And of course, there's one from the Monday gap, but I don't think that's not realistic, really. Not in Christmas week. Remember, Christmas week's going to be in theory. Christmas week will be subdued. So yeah, new historic high for silver. Short-term bearish for Monday. If we look at gold, actually let's just look at commodity gold on a daily. So commodity gold stands at 43.37. Look, we're only, what are we, 50, $54 from a historic high. We're overbought, but that could remain the case for a couple of months. Daily momentum is on the moderately high side. It could certainly, we could cool back a little bit Monday, Tuesday. I'm kind of hoping we do, but still, we know gold's going to break a new historic high, right? There's no doubt about that. I'll highlight them on here. Maybe I'll even do a special gold silver post tomorrow. But um, look at gold on a weekly. Gold's lagging silver because we haven't broken a new historic high, unlike silver. But these pennants keep playing out, right? You got to think. I think we have a good chance that. I think gold's got to be 4,500 within January. That appears a given. But the silver chart looks. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, it's 60. Yeah, I mean, according to stock charts, the new historic high today was 67.23. And that's a powerful candle. So I'm hoping that silver will drop, maybe $1, $1.50, either Monday or Tuesday. And maybe, have a little spike and off we go again on Christmas Eve or Boxing Day, December 26th. But clearly, look, I said it a few weeks ago. Target by mid-January is 70 to 75. We could even be printing $70 on Monday morning. I hope not, because I don't own it, of course. I need to get back on that bloody silver train again. It's almost more stressful not to be on the silver train than to be losing money, which is a hell of a thing to say. But anyway, we know it's going to go to 70 to 75. That's a given. The only issue now to me is whether it goes to $100 in January, which of course at the current rate, I mean literally at the current rate, silver will be printing $100. I mean whether that's in January or February, it doesn't matter, right? It really shouldn't matter to anybody. But yeah, this is what happened. This is what you get after a 45-year breakout. Hell of a thing. Anyway, maybe I'll talk more about silver and gold at the weekend. I don't know. I do want to cover some other things though. Let's just flash throughs. I mean, yeah. Also, I'll cover a few. I mean, the equity setup. We're a short-term overbought on the S&P. I mean, in theory, we should come. Look again, just like silver, we have a downside gap to fill. We need to come. We need to calm down the red gap. I do know a few people out there who think, and I've not drawn it on the chart, but there is a few people out there thinking we're gonna have some kind of ABC retrace, and at 39.03 down to 67.20, then we have we have a very clear ABC bounce, right? And some people think a C wave will be basically what? Let's call it a let's call it 180 points down. So take off 180 off 68.40 would give you 66.60, which is just above red gap, which never got tagged. Now, of course, if we're going to do that, we need to do that either by Christmas Eve or on Boxing Day on the 26th. That will not be easy. It's possible, but I'm sure as hell not going to short anything. That to me that just seems stupid. So no shorts. But if we do drop, I will be a willing buyer, especially in silver, of course. What else? Fixed trade is dead. We don't care about that. Let's just flash through a few things. What do we got? Agnico Eagle at 3%. Yep. Just powering upwards with gold. American Eagle. Oh, look at that. I mean, it's only up 1.1%, but that's a new multi-year high. Look, 27.84, target at the 32s. I should have been I should have been long this one, but you know, I've been obsessive about silver instead. AMD had a pretty good day, right? Ooh, look at that, 6%. Also, yeah, look at that. Friday's candle was black, failed to play out. There's a fair few candles in AMD. AMD is one of his stocks the black candles often don't play out. Moving on. Amazon flat, don't care. Don't care about that. Barrick, oh, look at that. Barrick mining, new historic high, up 2%, 44.73. I mean, look, if you think gold's going to go to 5K, which I do, then what are you thinking? Barrick, 60. Yeah, $60 looks pretty easy. If gold is 5,000, Barrick's $60. The real question should be, well, what if gold is 7 to 8,000 next year, as I suspect? Then what's Barrick then? Barrick's $100 plus, right? So it does make me wonder, actually, if you think gold's going to have a good, go up a good 2 or 3 thousand bucks next year, the miners are going to be crazy strong. I haven't looked at the call chain, but you got to wonder what Barrick calls would be. Maybe if I bought January 2027's, I don't know, $70 strikes. Maybe they're $1. Anyway, that's a conversation for another time. What else we got? Oh yeah, Deckers. Which of course, remember I spoke about this, right? Because I was thinking about Deckers was on my shopping list, right? But I'm like, I can't be buying Deckers because Nike was probably going to go down on earnings, which it did. So Deckers is down for actually, what's that? Yeah, third day down 1.1% to 99. I think this is $150 next year. I don't know whether that's going to be in February, March, April, maybe not until late summer. I don't know. But I do know this, that when it breaks above the 200 day, that'll give me confidence that you see 125 and then 150. And if I'm right about this one, then the S&P will be somewhere way north of 7,000. I don't mean to obsess about it, but for some reason, Deckers and United Health, they're telling me a story. Disney was down 0.5%. If you look on YouTube, the infamous Doomcock did a video on Avengers Doomsday, talking about. Well, actually, I won't even say what it was about. It was just basically rumors. They're trying to. Well, Disney is trying to unwokify the Marvel universe. Energy transfer up 1%. Endeavor Silver 3. 4.1. There was a black candle yesterday which did briefly play out. Freeport McMoran, look at that. New multi-year high, 49.15. Let's jump to copper. What did copper do today? Copper was up 6 cents to 542. I mean, today's candle's a little bit spiky, so maybe copper will cool back to maybe 520, even 510 next week, but it's definitely a midterm bullish, and I gotta think it's gonna be printing the sixes. Not until January. Look at these nasty drops. Wow. And then the April drop when, again, if the main market is down, commodities, especially copper and silver, will get a smackdown. That's just how it is. Where was I? FedEx. Well, wow, that's a wild candle. So FedEx was down on earnings, which were, they weren't bad, they were okay. But it spiked. Look at, this is a great example, right? Key price threshold, right? Look at that. It spikes right from it and then Today's candle is actually bullish engulfing, which bodes green for Monday. And whilst I remember Nike, whose earnings were mixed, down 10.5%. I could have shorted this one. If I was going to trade it, I would have been short. And look at it, 10.5%. Didn't I say this? I've been saying this for a few days. 58s. Why 58s? Look, June 58s, May 58s, April 58s. The market loves price magnets. So, the problem is that people can't afford shoes. That's the problem. Lockheed, which of course reminds me of Trump, Venezuela. Yeah, look at that. Bullish engulfing candle. Got to be bullish for defense stocks. Micron, it's impressive. New historic high up six. Was that seg? That's 7%. Wow, new historic high. Yesterday's black candle failed to play out. Of course, that's also the case for the main market, the indexes. A lot of black candles yesterday, and they just didn't play out, which is surprising. I did think we were going to get a downside reversal today, and it just didn't happen. It's very odd, especially considering it was quad opex. Like typically you'll get a few swings on quad opex, but we just didn't get any. Netflix up 0.4%. I mean, structure's still yeah, man, structure's a little bear flag there. Not great. Nvidia up almost 4%. Yeah, Nvidia had a black candle yesterday. That didn't play out either. But of course, mostly it's just chop. Nothing much there. I don't care about any of those. Pan American Silver, I guess new historic high, right? Um, yeah. Fractional new historic high, 51.77. Again, if you think silver's 100, arguably SLV 100 would mean that this should be at least 75 to $80. The best of the silver miners, from what I understand. Oh yeah, Rocket Lab. I only covered it once today to my subscribers, but um, look at this. 17% up to $70.52. Why? What was the news? Pentagon contract, roughly $800 million. US government is really throwing billions of dollars now at space related stuff. And all of these space companies are getting involved. Rocket Lab being, again, we can't buy SpaceX right now, but Rocket Lab is the best of, well, one of the best of the more reasonable companies to buy. There's other companies that do space, but this is a dedicated space company. So, you know, and look at it. Look at where it floored in November. 200 a day. April. 200 a day. I mean, it's going to go way past $100. I actually saw somebody, I think, talk about $200. I think this has a good chance of getting to $200 next September when SpaceX IPO. Yeah. Why the hell am I not long this? I mean, seriously, I know people who are long this, and I'm like, why am I not? Why don't I own this? Oh my God. I should own this. This is pretty wild. I mean, look at that. New scale 15s. I called it. I said when it was 57, I called $20, right? Which ironically was where I sold it in May, right? Unbelievable. At least I didn't sell it in the 11s. But now it's back to 15s again. Nothing wrong with the company, right? Nuclear is the way forwards. Um, I can understand people buying this. Target. Yeah, Target was yeah, it was down a little bit today, but it's just short term overbought. Also, volume was slightly higher because of opex. What did Tesla do? Tesla was down 0.5%. It's choppy. I mean, look, it's been a bullish week though. Wednesday, new strike high to 495. Valuation is absolutely insane. Take two Grand Theft Auto 6, yeah. It's a lot of chop. Not much to say there. I guess I should look at my United Health, which is fractionally down. But look, you can argue it's just churning before it breaks out. The breakout pressure is, in my view, it's well, there's multiple ones, but 345 would be the last week's high. Yeah, last Friday's high. And you have a 200-day at 350. So anything above 350 would be decisive, and also it would be above monthly 10 MA. I think this is going to go to 470. Big green gap is going to be filled. When's that going to happen? I mean, look, it can go up as fast as it came down. This could happen. This could be in green gap in February. I should be long this one, but I'm not yet. What else? Yeah, Bitcoin's up 3%, 88K. Anything bond yields? I know you don't care about bond yields. I know you don't. Wow, look at that. Japanese 10-year. Look at it. It's now above 2.02%. German Bund 2.9%. The America's up a little bit, but you have a UK gilt 4.53%. You got to think that the central banks are getting very twitchy about this, especially the JCB. People don't talk about Germany, but look at this. Ge- German German 10-year yield was negative for much of well, actually all of well, most of 2019, all the way into early 2022. A negative bond yield. That was how crazy things got in Europe, and all that nonsense is finished. Ironically, higher bond yields are bullish stocks. I think I have a chart for that. Um, where is it? Maybe it's that one. Oh yeah. So this is the US 10-year with the S&P. I have some key vertical uh, kind of markers. So you have the tech bubble high. Remember, look at this. Stocks maxed out when yields started going down in 2000. Stocks maxed out in October of 2007 when yields started going down. Stocks well, actually not in this case. This one's slightly odd, but yields started plummeting in late 2018. The stocks did go up for a little bit, and then of course there was the COVID. Look at this. This is incredible, right? This little this little drop here, this little drop, that's the COVID collapse. That's when the market dropped 35% in 4 weeks. This 35% drop across 4 weeks now just it's barely even noticeable. And now we're all the way up at 68.34. We're basically markets up 200% since COVID low. 200%. That's a triple. So if ironically, if yields go up, that pressures stocks, especially the financials. All right, well, let's jump to a JP Morgan. Oh, look at that. New historic high. Currently at 1.3% for the month, 317. Look at that. 65 bucks in 2020. 65. It got cut in half almost. 119 to 65. And now we're 317. Incredible. All right, what do I want to end with? End with the S&P. I don't know. I mean, yeah, look at that black candle. It didn't play out at all. That is today's gain is pretty surprising, especially for a Friday quad opex. And now you can see on the lower Bollinger, support is currently 66.74. So it's gonna be pretty to have any chance at getting down to like red gap, which is 66.30s. We're gonna have to close back under the Thursday low, call it the 50-day. We need to be back under 67 uh 67 yeah 67.67 to have any chance at taking out the Wednesday low. But even then, if we do, I still expect us to go back up and break a new high into January. I do not expect any of these downside gaps to be hit any time soon. I think I will end with my beloved silver, even though I don't own any. Actually, we'll look at the 60-minute, which we didn't cover. I mean, yeah, look, it's for some weeks now when MACD's around here, here, here. This is kind of a buying level, so we could easily. I'm look on the MACD histogram. Momentum did weaken a little bit in the afternoon, and we have a pretty good chance of turning negative early Monday, and then maybe look to buy. I will be looking to buy on some kind of down wave. And of course, natural target would be there's a little tiny gap there, 59.50s, and of course you have red gap. Yellow gap now looks stretch. But to me, this is the money maker. At least it is right now. How long that's going to last, I don't know. But yeah, I got to think this is going to come back down to red gap on Monday. If it be, I'll talk about this probably in a special Saturday video maybe. But if we gap up on Monday, there's no way in hell I'm chasing in Christmas week. I'll just have to sit it out. But with a little bit of luck, we'll just gap down like we did on Wednesday, right? Yeah. I mean, hell, we only had one big down candle, and that made for a pretty good buying level. Anyway, it's Friday. Let's wrap things up. I will wish you a good evening, and I will probably do a video Saturday and Sunday because I'm still new at this. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. But yeah, be good.